The city was alive, a symphony of noise, a rush of humanity. Quan loved it. He held his daughter's hand tight, her laughter music to his ears. Street vendors hawked their wares, taxis honked, the air thrummed with energy. A kaleidoscope of smells, sweet and savory, filled the air. Quan smiled, breathing it all in. His little Mai, eyes bright, pointed at a street performer juggling fire. Then the world exploded. A deafening roar, a blinding flash. The ground lurched. Quan was thrown back, the air thick with dust and screams. He struggled to his feet, ears ringing, heart pounding. Panic seized him. "Mai!" he screamed, his voice lost in the chaos. He saw the flames first, then the mangled metal, the stench of burning metal and something else, something sickeningly sweet. The world around him dissolved into a nightmare. His Mai, his beautiful, bright Mai. Gone, the laughter, the light in her eyes extinguished, in their place a gaping hole in his soul. The world kept spinning, but Quan was frozen, trapped in the echo of a heartbeat that was no more. He swore he would find them, the animals responsible. He would rain down hellfire. He would know no peace until justice was served. The days that followed were a blur. Funerals were for the living. Quan felt dead inside. He moved mechanically, a ghost haunting his own life. Mai's laughter echoed in the empty rooms, her toys a painful reminder of what was lost. The vibrant city, once a source of joy, now mocked him with its indifference. His grief was a raw, gnawing beast. It devoured everything in its path. Quan wasn't a man of God. He'd seen too much, done too much, but he prayed for one thing: vengeance. He knew the authorities. They would follow protocol, paperwork, procedures, cold comfort for a father's burning rage. He had another life, buried deep, a life of shadows and secrets. He was a soldier, a weapon, and they had awakened the ghost within. He started digging. His past gave him access to places, people the authorities couldn't touch. The whispers started, a name surfaced: Liam Hennessy, an underworld fixer, a man who knew things. Quan knew the type. He'd been one himself once. He knew the language of violence, the currency of fear. He would use it all. He would find his daughter's killers, and he would make them pay. Hennessy was a predator. You could smell it on him. He moved with an easy grace that belied a coiled strength. He met Quan in a dimly lit bar, smoke swirling around them. A cruel smile played on his lips. So the soldier wants to play detective. Quan didn't waste time. "I need information." He slid a photograph across the table, Mai's smiling face, a lifetime ago. "Information is expensive," Hennessy said, eyes cold and calculating. Quan knew the game. He named his price. It was steep, dangerous, but Quan had nothing left to lose. He saw a flicker of respect in Hennessy's eyes, or maybe it was amusement. Hard to tell with men like him. Hennessy leaned in, his voice low, a conspiratorial whisper. "There are whispers." A new player. Someone looking to make a statement. They call him the Serpent. The name sent a chill down Quan's spine. He'd heard it before, in the darkest corners of his past. The Serpent was a ghost story, a boogeyman, a mercenary who vanished after painting the world red. He was a phantom, a nightmare, and he was the key to finding Mai's killers. Section 4, Shadows and Echoes, a soldier's hunt. Quan plunged into the city's underbelly. He moved like a phantom, a ghost from his own past. He used his skills, surveillance, interrogation, violence when he had to. He was a hunter now, and he would not rest until he found his prey. He followed the trail of whispers and blood. Each lead was a piece of a puzzle, leading him closer to the Serpent. He infiltrated arms deals, interrogated informants, and disappeared into the night, leaving a trail of broken bodies in his wake. He was ruthless, efficient. The city became his hunting ground. He fought his way through layers of lies and deceit. He saw his reflection in the eyes of the men he hunted, the desperation, the rage. He was losing himself in the darkness, but he clung to the memory of Mai's laughter. It was his anchor, the only thing keeping him from being swallowed whole. His investigation led him to a derelict warehouse on the city's edge. The air was thick with the smell of fear and decay. He moved silently, a predator stalking his prey. He could feel it. The Serpent was close. Section 5, Truth's Razor, a dance with demons. The warehouse was a labyrinth of shadows and steel. Quan moved through it like a phantom, his senses on high alert. He could hear the faintest sounds, the scuttling of rats, the drip of water, the panicked breaths of his enemies. He found them huddled in the heart of the warehouse, a pack of wolves circling their alpha. The serpent. He stood tall, his eyes cold and calculating. He exuded an aura of power, danger. He was everything Quan had imagined, and more. Their eyes met across the room, a silent acknowledgement. Two predators, finally face to face. "You took something from me," Quan said, his voice low and dangerous. The serpent smiled, a chillingly familiar smile. "And now you come for revenge." A brutal fight ensued. Fists and steel clashed in the darkness. Quan fought with the fury of a man possessed, fueled by grief and rage, but the serpent was a worthy adversary. He moved with deadly grace, anticipating Quan's every move. The warehouse echoed with the sounds of their struggle. Metal screamed, bones crunched. Both men were battered, bruised, but neither would yield. Section 6. Blood on the scales. The price of retribution. Quan disarmed the serpent, stood over him. Victory felt hollow, empty. The serpent coughed, blood staining his lips. "You think you understand justice, soldier?" he rasped. "It's a disease. It consumes everything." Quan pressed his gun against the serpent's forehead. He could end it, right here, right now, avenge his daughter. But as he stared into the serpent's eyes, he saw a flicker of something unexpected, regret, pain. He saw a reflection of himself. "Who gave the order?" Quan growled, his voice shaking with suppressed rage. The serpent laughed, a dry, humorless sound. "Does it matter? They are shadows, ghosts. You chase them, you become one of them." He coughed again, blood splattering on the floor. Quan hesitated. He looked down at the gun in his hand, the cold metal a weight against his skin. He thought of Mai, her laughter, her light. Was this what she would have wanted? To become a monster in pursuit of vengeance? He closed his eyes, took a deep breath. The weight of his actions pressed down on him. He had crossed a line. There was no going back. Section 7. Beyond the Abyss. Finding peace in the rubble. He lowered the gun. He didn't have the stomach to pull the trigger, not anymore. He walked away, leaving the serpent lying in the dirt. He walked until the city lights blurred and the sounds of the night faded into silence. He had his answers, he had faced his demons, and he had chosen a different path. He would carry the pain of Mai's loss with him always, but he would not let it consume him. Quan disappeared. Some say he found peace in a monastery. Others that he wandered the earth, a ghost haunting the shadows. The truth, like justice, remained elusive, but one thing was clear. Quan's quest for vengeance had come at a price. He had stared into the abyss, and the abyss had stared back, and in the end he had chosen to walk away from the darkness.